Sasha Bucket. Yes. Good.
New chairman of the NICCT, Mr. Moharrar, fellow members of the NICCT, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to have this opportunity to speak to you about the achievements of the Netherlands-India Chamber of Commerce and Trade. This subject is very dear to my heart because, as some of you are aware, NICCT is my brainchild. And I have been very closely associated with the NICCT from the very beginning. About 15 years ago, I had a vision. The vision was that there was a need for a strong binational Chamber of Commerce to promote business and economic relations between the Netherlands and India. At that time, there were two small organizations already existing in the Netherlands, namely the Indo-Dutch Chamber of Commerce and Trade and India Trade Council. The organizations were small, their activities were occasional, but their constituency was largely the same, and some of the activities were overlapping. Therefore, it made very good sense to persuade the leaders of these two organizations to merge together, and the result was Netherlands-India Chamber of Commerce and Trade. NICCT has come a very long way since its inception in 2001. The business relations between the Netherlands and India at that time were very modest, and there was very little awareness about the vast potential which existed and which continued to exist for the expansion of trade and business relations between the Netherlands and India. To just give you some idea, I have some figures to share with you. In 2001, the total trade between the two countries was only 1.4 billion euros. And a comparable figure, which I have here for 2013, is 5.7 billion euros. So a jump of 400% during this period. I have another figure for you. The Dutch investment in India, the foreign direct investment, in the year 2001 was only $161 million. This figure is in dollars. And for the current year, the figure is $3.13 billion, a jump of 20 times. The number of Dutch companies operating in India in the year 2001 could be counted perhaps on the fingers of two hands. Today, more than 175 Dutch companies are functioning, operating, and profiting from their activities in India. The Netherlands has already become the 5th largest investor in India. And correspondingly, India is the 5th largest investor in the Netherlands. That may come as a surprise to some of you. Number of Indian companies operating in the Netherlands is around 100. Almost all IT majors from India are functioning in the Netherlands. A number of companies have made Netherlands as their European headquarters or their gateway to Europe. Thus, you will see that the trade, business, and economic relations between the Netherlands and India have expanded enormously during the last 14 or 15 years. Obviously, NICCT cannot take total credit for this phenomenon. But what cannot be disputed, what I can say with conviction and belief, is that the NICCT has played a very important role in creating the awareness in the Netherlands about the vast business potential which exists in India for the Dutch companies. When the NICCT started, we started with around 30-35 members. Today, our membership is close to 100. We have small companies, medium-sized companies, large companies, a number of multinationals. And some of these large companies are patent members of the NICCT and are making substantial contribution to the work of the NICCT, both in financial terms and intellectually. During the last 14 years, NICCT has organized more than 100 programs in this country. In the short presentation which I am making to you, it is not possible to talk about each and every one of those activities. But those activities are well documented, well recorded, and those who are interested, the information can be made available to them. However, I would like to bring to your attention some activities which were trailblazing in nature, which set up the example for others to follow, which started the process which has been subsequently followed in the other years. Now, in the first year, active year of operation, the first seminar in the Netherlands on doing business with India was organized to give a little flavor of the kind of things which could be done between the Netherlands and India. In 2003, it came to our attention that the business people wanting to come to the Netherlands, the knowledge workers interested in coming to the Netherlands, were having serious difficulties. So the NICCT brought together on a single platform all the stakeholders, the Dutch companies, the Indian companies, the senior Dutch bureaucrats from the relevant ministries, some of the politicians, to have a brainstorming session on the subject. And as a result of that, and subsequent discussions and negotiations, the situation has become completely different today. It is relatively straightforward for a knowledge worker to obtain the visa and come to the Netherlands. And as many of you are aware, more than 6,000 Indian knowledge workers are currently working in the Netherlands and are contributing to the Dutch economy. In the 2003, again, another trailblazing activity was organized. That was a seminar on ICT-related services from India. In 2003, there was very modest export of software and IT-related services. That scene has completely changed since then. And as I mentioned to you, there is a regular flow. Almost all the Dutch major companies have offshore activities in India. Dutch Indian companies are very closely associated with the Dutch companies, particularly in that field. And since then, not in relation to the Netherlands alone, India's export of software and software-related services, IT-related services, is now more than 100 billion US dollars every year. That in mentioning these activities and describing them, neither personally nor on behalf of the NICCT, I am taking any credit. But the purpose of mentioning is that NICCT was able to foresee the importance of these activities, was able to highlight them, was able to bring to the attention of the Dutch companies, and perhaps was able to stimulate some of them to get into those activities. In 2004, NICCT organized the first privately funded trade mission to India, without any support from the Dutch government or from the Indian government, entirely privately funded. And as a result of that trade mission, some joint ventures were signed, some new Dutch companies started operating in India, and there was stimulation for the organizing of IFA Award. These are the film awards in Amsterdam. That was a direct result of that trade mission. In 2005, NICCT, in cooperation with ABN AMRO, organized the program Doing Business with India. In the year 2006, NICCT, ING Bank, and KPMG joined hands in organizing Investing in India, Opportunities and Challenges. That was the small beginning of something which since then has grown into a very major activity, and that is Netherlands-India Business Meet, which the NICCT has been organizing regularly every year since 2008. On the first occasion, 2008, number of important Dutch players, of course the ING, KPMG, Tata Chorus, various chambers of commerce, Municipality of Amsterdam, all of them joined hands to organize the first Netherlands-India Business Meet, to which we were able to attract specially the Finance Minister of India, Mr. Chitambram, to come specially for that occasion, and along with the Dutch Minister of Trade at that time, Mr. Heemskerk. That event attracted more than 300 business persons from India and the Netherlands, and one could say, without any fear of contradiction, that that was the largest gathering of Netherlands-India business community, either in the Netherlands or in India. In 2009, the NICCT started Netherlands-India Business Awards to recognize and to honor those companies which are making outstanding contribution in this sector. In 2010, the NICCT initiated another regular program, that is the New Year receptions, in cooperation with the city of The Hague. This is a very popular program every year in the month of January to kick-start the activities of the NICCT for that year. And it brings together close to 100 Dutch companies every year on a platform which gives them the opportunity to exchange ideas, exchange experiences, to make new contacts, to renew the old contacts, and sometimes to forge new alliances. In 2011, the NICCT initiated the programs on corporate social responsibility. And under that program, in the year 2012, we were able to invite the outstanding humanitarian, the world-renowned spiritual leader, Sri Ravi Shankar, to speak on a platform provided by the NICCT. In 2014, that was last year, we initiated organizing roundtable meetings. These are small meetings for about 20-25 persons for new companies wanting to do business with India, to give them the orientation, to give them the training, to bring them in contact with some mentors, to bring them in contact with the experienced members of the NICCT, sometimes a member of the board of the NICCT, where they can exchange ideas, where they can learn, where they can seek help. And that program is being organized in cooperation with various chambers of commerce in this country, in different cities, in cooperation with VNO, NCW, MKB, World Trade Center, Rotterdam, a number of other organizations. A very popular program, and this year alone, we have organized 4 roundtable meetings of different kind with an emphasis on different subjects. And lastly, in the year 2015, that is the current year, the NICCT was able to organize the first edition of the Netherlands Business Meet in India. During the economic mission, the recent economic mission from the Netherlands to India, which was led by Prime Minister Rutte, during that mission, on the 6th of June in Mumbai, NICCT organized NIBM India. It was attended by more than 200 business persons from both the countries. It was chaired by the Dutch Minister, Mrs. Lilian Ploeman, and by all accounts which I have heard, it was a very successful event. Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes, I have tried to give you a glimpse of the various kind of activities which the NICCT has initiated over the years. One activity which I did not mention is Meet the Distinguished CEO. Under that program, we encourage the CEOs of various companies to share their experiences with the members of the NICCT. Under that program, Mr. Ramadurai, the CEO of TCS, Tata Consultancy Services, Mr. John Homan of ING Bank, and various other persons have spoken on the platform of the NICCT. Similarly, on the platform of the NICCT, a number of distinguished economists, starting with the chief economist of ING Bank, the chief economist of Shell International, India's ambassador to the European Union, Ambassador Puri, and various other distinguished speakers have spoken on that platform and given the members of the NICCT and invited guests the benefit of their experience. Over the years, NICCT has forged, nurtured, and developed a lot of useful partnerships. Among our partners are both governmental and non-governmental organizations in this country. I already mentioned VNO NCW, I mentioned MKB, the Dutch ministries related to the subjects which we are covering, the Indian Embassy, the Dutch Embassy. The Dutch ambassador to India is a regular guest at the activities of the NICCT. This is what NICCT has achieved over the years, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure that I have been a part of these activities over these years, and I like to take this opportunity to convey my deep sense of appreciation, firstly to the members of the board of the NICCT, the outgoing board, for the strong moral and material support which I have received from them, advice and cooperation. The patron members of the NICCT who have contributed enormously to the work of the NICCT, and the members at large who have reposed their confidence in me, who have given me the opportunity to serve the Netherlands-India business community. Ladies and gentlemen, NICCT today is a well-established, smoothly functioning, financially sound organization. I have decided to step down as chairman of the NICCT to pass on the torch to the new generation of leadership. The new leadership has already been elected today, and once again, I like to congratulate each one of them. I am confident that the NICCT is good and safe hands. Although, starting from this moment, I am no longer chairman of the NICCT, but I shall continue to take active interest in the progress and well-being of the NICCT. If and when necessary, the new leaders can always call upon my impartial advice and strong support. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one can obviously understand that this new torch or the baton of responsibility being passed on to the new generation, as Mr. Lakina calls it, although I don't know whether it's the new generation. It is certainly a huge responsibility on the shoulders of the new board, and I think we have made a wise decision by ensuring that he stays and remains involved in terms of his impartial advice and in the coming period as Chairman Emeritus. However, such a long range of impartial advice and services in almost 15 years, Mr. Lakina, cannot go without a deep sense of appreciation from the current board. So I would like to read out something for Mr. Lakina, and this is a letter of appreciation that comes from the heart of the board, which is the current board and also some of the new members. And I would like you to pay attention, Mr. Lakina. Dear Mr. Lakina, dear Ram, Malcolm Forbes once said, "The best vision is insight." Today, on the occasion of your retirement as chairman of the board of the Netherlands-India Chamber of Commerce and Trade, the NICCT, The NICCT board would like to celebrate your rare qualities of vision, perseverance, and leadership that has created, built, and raised the NICCT to where it is today. Your mission began in the year 2000, at a time when India was just beginning to make its presence felt on the global economic scene, at a time when India-Netherlands trade and economic relations were only in a nascent phase. You had the insight to foresee the changing economic order in the world. You single-handedly went on to build a community of stakeholders that is committed to enhancing and growing India-Netherlands business. This took a lot of time, effort, relentless energy, sometimes in the face of skepticism from a world that was not ready for India, leave aside NICCT. Powered by the force of your conviction and your undaunted dedication to the cause, today, 15 years later, Mr. Lakina, the NICCT is the de facto representative of India-Netherlands business community in the Netherlands. It has more than 300 businesses involved on both India and Netherlands, including some of the largest multinational companies in the Netherlands with substantial interests in India and vice versa. Your years at the helm of the NICCT have been marked by unsurpassed excellence and growth of the organization, and important though are the friendships you have developed over that time, both business and personal. Your leading marks at the end of this era at NICCT, and we know that we will all come to appreciate you even more as we try to fill in the void that you left behind, although not with the chairman emeritus role. Max Dupre, who was a great writer on leadership, has said, the first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. The first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. The last is to say thank you. In between, the leader is a servant. The board of the NICCT gratefully and very humbly acknowledges your years and years of dedicated service during these past 15 years. You are and will remain an inspiration to all of us. In deep sense of gratitude and appreciation on behalf of the entire board of the Netherlands India Chamber of Commerce and Trade, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Mr. Lakina. I would like to hand over something that we all believe, the entire board believes is representative, is representation actually of these words. May I first hand over the letter that I just read out to Mr. Lakina. Thank you, Mr. And this is something that the board feels extremely proud of having selected for you, Mr. Lakina. I hope in the true Dutch tradition, you will open it. Thank you very much.
Very tightly wrapped.
This is a small representation of a token of appreciation, and I would just like to read out. It says, in deep appreciation to Mr. Ram Lakina, founder and chairman of the board 2001-2015, Netherlands India Chamber of Commerce and Trade, and under that it says, a visionary builder, and a true sense of having built the people organization. Once again. Of course, so many years of undaunted service to this organization cannot actually be done unless and until you have phenomenal and tremendous support at home. So I think we have to give a huge round of applause and a deep sense of appreciation for Sanjukta ji, Mrs. Lakina. May I please invite you on stage? We would like to thank you. We don't do that too often with our better hearts. Mrs. Lakina, thank you very much for sparing Mrs. Lakina's time to be able to add value to the NICCT. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, members of the NICCT, Mr. Singh, representative of the Indian Embassy here. Mr. Lakina said that NICCT is going into the new era, and I do believe I'm fortunate with the new board that is elected today, that we are indeed entering a new era. I would like to share with you over the next 15 to 20 minutes what NICCT's vision is, and also take the opportunity to introduce you to the new board of the NICCT. Before I do that, we have an exciting audiovisual that we would like to actually take you through that depicts, I think, probably the next 10 years, hopefully, of the NICCT in terms of keeping the focal point and becoming the unique focal point in the Netherlands-India business corridor. So I present to you our first audiovisual at the NICCT.
Our two countries are bound by history and shared values. I'm happy that we are partnering in developing joint pilot projects for an electric vehicle ecosystem in India. We are setting up centers of excellence in areas like horticulture and animal husbandry.
The Netherlands is a key partner in helping India achieve these goals and to learn from India so that we also can apply these lessons in the Netherlands.
Saw are from the recent trip of Prime Minister Rutte to India, and I think some of us were fortunate enough to be a part of that mission. Personally, I feel it was a fantastic vision. It gives a huge impetus for the Dutch and the Indian business community to be seen and to be put on the radar in India. There was a huge amount of media coverage, and on the whole, I think NICCT made a tremendous mark from all our members' perspective. At this point, I would like to introduce two aspects of the NICCT new board to all of you. The new NICCT board is comprised of 11 board members, and from the 11 board members, we have 6 board members who are in what we call the active executive committee, and the other 5 are in the non-executive committee. I think I'm extremely fortunate enough this year that the board members have willingly accepted separate portfolios this year to have absolutely focused effort in terms of the Netherlands-India Business Corridor. Ladies and gentlemen, the weather is fantastic outside. The drinks have been laid out. Before I end this, it is my proud privilege in the next 2 years to give direction to the NICCT and ensure that your interests as the members are looked after and to achieve new heights, not the famous 5 like Anne Britain said, but this famous 11. A round of applause, please. May I invite all of you outside for a cocktail reception. Maria and Peter, may I invite you to say a word of thanks and formally close the formal proceedings of the evening so that we can let people enjoy the dinner. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, wishing you a very nice evening. The word of thanks from Maria van der Heijden and Peter Uitwald.
Yeah, Vipin is very creative in putting other people also on stage, so he asked us to thank people. We're going to combine that. Well, the first one I had, it was Heiko and Lenneke, but you thanked them already. But I really think, hello, Sabani, listen at the moment. Because music connects. And Namita asked me, do you like the music? And I think also Dutch people really like music because it really connects between people. So thank you for that. Next one.
No, you know what I saw while playing the music? There were a few people already closing their eyes and drifting away like they've been in India. When I heard that music, it was like, close your eyes and you're sitting on a river with somebody in India. And that was so very good. So Lenneke and Heiko, I don't know whether they're still around. Thank you very, very much. It was a great performance, absolutely.
Wholeheartedly.
I think you deserve an enormous round of applause. Shall we say a word of thanks to Patricia?
Yeah. Patricia, stand up. the big motor after all the events of NICCT. Because as you know, we regularly get these mails, Patricia. So we know immediately that's something important. Thank you for the organization and your great service.
And we also like to thank the whole previous board of NICCT for all the good work they have done in the last, was it 15, 16 years?
2 years, last session.
But last 2 years also, but also the predecessors, right? Mr. Lakina, 15 years. You told me you're in for a new venture, you already have new ideas. So I wish you all the best. Good luck. And we definitely meet again because, like I said, we're almost neighbors. We live 200 meters apart.
We also like to thank all our new board members, Peter.
Absolutely.
Great that we can be part of this board. And then you might this one.
And last but certainly not least, we like to express a word of thanks to Vipin for having organized together with Patricia a great day. Thank you for inviting us and thank you for making us a member of the board. And this is a lovely day, lovely evening, lovely environment where we are. And we enjoy it very much. And thank you all for coming here. Thank you.
Thank you.